Hey guys, it's Old Man G here, back again with another video for Red Devil Studio. Sorry, I've been having some issues with the mic, just microphone audio stuff. Just because, please tell me, guys, if you can hear me, but also if there's any static, like you're hearing a buzzing or something like that. If you can hear, if there's any static or buzzing or anything, just let me know. We'll try and sort it out. And hopefully we can have a good show. Basically, that is the plan because. Before I was intervening with technical issues leading up to the stream, the whole point of this show is basically we're here to talk about the transfer window reaction. We are here to talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We're here to talk about what your expectations are for the upcoming season. We're here to talk about the Woodwards and Ed Woodward out, etc., etc., etc. Really, guys, we're really here to talk about. To be honest, what your expectations are for this season, guys. Good to see Jamie and good to see Team Takaki in the chat. Let's hope we get more and more people as we come in to this chat. Apologies again for the delay. It's just been we've just had a few technical issues, so I apologize again. Let's get into it. Let's get into start, guys. Basically, the transfer window is closed. The transfer window is closed, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't believe was backed. Tomorrow we're going to have obviously a talk with a lot of fans who were part of the Premier League. We're going to have Newcastle fans, Chelsea fans, Liverpool fans, etc., all tuning in and going to give their own say on how. So I'm just going to chat. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Of how the transfer window went, and to be honest, if I'm looking at the teams that have had a good transfer window, it's every team. Obviously, Chelsea didn't have a choice because they got a transfer ban, but the others, Liverpool didn't sign anyone, but they were strengthened. But City, Tottenham, and Arsenal, our local rivals, had a good window, in my opinion. They all had good windows, and the reality is that we had deficits in our squad. Okay, let's break it down. Let's break it down, guys. Let's break it down. First of all, let's talk about who we brought in. Okay, let's talk about that first. Okay, so £15 million for Daniel James, a left winger. Think you'll have great potential. I think you have amazing potential. But the reality is that it's again another potential signing. He doesn't have Champions League experience, Premier League experience. So again, it's good potential, and United have been buying potentials, especially in youth, for quite a while now. But that's it, potential. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, awesome. Right back. I mean, to be honest, anyone was going to be an improvement over Ashley Young. Let's be honest, anyone was going to be an improvement. We already seen him pre-season. Draco, how are you doing, mate? Good. Sound is good. Awesome. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming into live stream, man. Really appreciate it, man. It's going to support. We had some technical issues earlier, but things are sorted, so that's good. Ihede, Ikuza says, "Fuck Man U, where's the midfielder?" We're gonna get to that. But I want this to be sort of I want this to be interactive, but I also want us to just sort of almost take a journey as to what basically sort of happened this transfer window. Like I was very angry come 5 o'clock today, and I want to now just I want us to take a journey through basically what happened, through like the start of the window up to the end and how we got to where we were. Because the reality, guys, is that this didn't start from this transfer window. Man United have had. When was the last time we actually had a good transfer window? If you guys think about it, last summer we bought Fred and Diego Dallo. That was it. And back then, Mourinho said he needed a centre back. He wasn't backed. Pedro, I need to know Bruno Fernandes, he joined or not? No, he didn't. He didn't join. He's still at Sporting Lisbon. All the hype probably came from the Portuguese Italian press. He's still at Sporting Lisbon. That's where he is. Draco, yeah, mate, I was fuming. Yep, I am. I am. I still am. Um, but yeah, if we go back to the beginning, probably a good month into more so transfer window, we signed Daniel James 15 million. Do we need another left winger? Probably not. Is he good for the future? Yeah. But really, we needed to look at other areas. Like maybe a backup left back, a right back, and so on. The deal comes underway eventually after I think the UEFA Nations League finishes. And it's like, if we were really serious about sorting out our deficits, come on, you Gooners, get lost, teams gotta get to. If we were really serious about improving our squad, we would have had replacements lined up even before the transfer window opened. That is the reality, guys. That's what would have happened. But that's not the case. That's not what happened. Fast forward another month, okay, and we still bargaining with Crystal Palace on getting Wan-Bissaka. We buy him for 50 million eventually. But the reality is that Wan-Bissaka was always going to be 50 million. Okay? Wan-Bissaka was always going to be... Thanks to everyone who's watching. By the way, we've got 18 viewers. Please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Really, really appreciate it. Going on to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka was always, in my opinion, going to be 50 million. Always. There was no... That's just the going rate for fullbacks. Specifically... at Manchester United, because Manchester United, to be honest, guys, are constantly paying a premium, I would argue, for players. Constantly. So don't expect us to spend any less than 50 million on a player unless they're from the Championship or a League 1, 2 sort of side. So, but eventually we get the Wan-Bissaka deal, and you're thinking, okay, maybe we need to, again, and follow another month later, we eventually sign Harry Maguire. The point I'm trying to make by these sort of things is that the slowedness, you compare teams to Atletico Madrid, who were able to get their signings, João Felix, Kieran Trippier, and so on. Boom, 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 one after the other. Draco's just saying, I think poor planning and lack of foresight cost us in the end. We are just in a position to not to spend. But this is the thing, Draco, and I agree with you, is that it's like, why are we in this position? Because this is not the first time that we've had a poor transfer window. Mourinho complained before he got sacked that he wasn't backed. And a lot of the managers have been singing a similar tune that they didn't get the players that they were promised or they were going to get. None of them did. The manager takes the fall, Edward and the Glazers still stay. It's clear that Solskjaer wanted one or two players. Yes, you could say he wanted British, wanted youth, etc. But it's clear that this was not his ideal squad. As evidence, because he said in April, and I quote, some of these players are not going to be here as part of my vision next season. That was after the Everton game where we lost 4-0. And to be honest, when you look at Everton now, honestly, I could see them drumming us 4-0, if not 5-0 at Goodison Park. I really could. If I'm honest, I would have bought Moise Kean. But we'll go into that later. The point is that we're in a situation where, as Draco has said, poor planning, underinvestment, a situation that should not have been a surprise to anybody, and we're finding ourselves now starting another season without knowing what our good first team 11 is. So, what do you... People will say we spent 45 million on those two players. Although now you could argue the selling Lukaku, our net spend is actually 60 million. So go figure. So our net spend has actually been 60 million pounds. Solskjaer needs at least 200 million pounds net to revamp that squad, and he got 60 million pounds net. I have no doubt that Wan-Bissaka will improve our squad, because anyone, frankly, is an improvement over Ashley Young. Harry Maguire, he's 80 million. I hope he will be that impact that 80 million will have. Although I have my doubts, not because of him, but because of who's playing in front of him, who's still at the clown in terms of Matic. Drake was saying, we are in the position because of the ball. Of course we are. Of course we are. Of course we are. Of course we're in the ball. Good. Thanks again, everyone who is watching. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate it. The reality is that we are in this situation. I was going to say Ed, and let me talk about Edward for a second, okay? Because we've talked about the fact that we've got the signings, but frankly, we took too long to get to negotiate one deal after the next. It took too long. Too long. But let me talk about Ed Woodward for a second. Now, Ed Woodward is not a football mind. Unlike a Bayern Munich, Ed Woodward is not. He's a banker. That's what he is. He's not someone who has any footballing know-how, knowledge at all. So, but at the same time, and I'll say this in Ed Woodward's defence, because everyone's saying Ed Woodward out. If the Glazers say to Ed Woodward, here, give the manager £500 million, go and do the deals, he'll do the deals. So he's getting his orders from above. He's been allocated. He's been said, this is how much we've got to spend to run the team. That's it. Now I don't get how a net that the Glazers, with how many billions that United make annually, how they only have 60 million to give to this squad. I'm still perplexed by that maths, if I'm perfectly honest. But the reality is that that's the situation that we're in, unfortunately. And maybe Ed, because he's a banker, doesn't seem to understand the football and technically know how to, or even just an issue with the scout. I don't know. I don't know. But something has to change. We were promised a sporting director that hasn't materialised. He's not going to relinquish his position. That's not happening. We're going to another season, again, underprepared. Because that's what we're going into the season, and relying on hope. Now, okay, so we've talked about Ed Woodward a bit. Glaze will come to the end. I just want to say about Ed Woodward. We've talked about the signs that we've come in, who I think will strengthen the squad, but it just wasn't enough. Now let's talk about the outgoings. So, Herrera left on a free because we were penny pinchers and we didn't want to give one of our best midfield players a decent contract. And a lot of fans got on his back. A lot of fans at the time were like, oh, Herrera, oh, what's he doing? Oh, we don't need you. Oh, he's just a money grabbing, etc. I hope now those same fans who were cussing Herrera for leaving the squad, after this transfer window, will know who was behind that situation. Because it wasn't Herrera. Fellaini's gone. I know a lot of fans are happy with that. Lukaku's gone. A lot of fans are happy with that. Valencia's gone. Fans are happy. Great, fine. Right back is the only position that I can see that's actually definitively sorted, because we've got Dalot, Wan-Bissaka and Ashley Young. Fine. Keeper, that position sorted. David De Gea, Romero, fine. No issues there. Defence, okay, we've got Lindelof and Maguire now. Chris Smalling as backup. Throw in Twan-CB. That should be fine. Sorted. Left back, Luke Shaw. That's about it. I don't know who could come in. I still won't have Ash Young around. You know, every other position for me is not sorted. Just reading some of your comments now. Draco agreed. The Glazers gave the budget. Woodward had to follow what they say. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, for all the Ed Woodward talk, at the end of the day, it's the Glazers own the club. The Glazers get the money from the fans, and the Glazers are the ones that are remortgaging the club, taking the money out for themselves. It's a joke. And I think this season, the funny thing about this season is coming is that I think this is going to, if things go badly, and they could potentially, if things do go badly, then I could potentially see Um, you know, us being an Arsenal equivalent. They'll be very vocal, very active, glazers out, banners and stuff like that. Because the fans aren't going to turn on Ollie quickly. They're not. It's not Mourinho. They could have done it, and even when in Mourinho, the fans didn't turn on. Online they did, but I think in the stadiums they didn't turn on Mourinho. There was no Mourinho out banners, from what I could see, because the United fans don't do that. Let alone Ollie. The fans aren't going to turn on Ollie. So the board need to be aware that we're coming from them if things go bad. We are. Good to see you back in, Jamie. Hashtag glazed out, hashtag widowed out. Herrera only wants about 170. Exactly, 200k a week. Nothing. Exactly. I'm going to show now, but going to watch now. But gonna switch off football for now. Great insight. Yeah, I agree. I'm after this stream. I'm switching off from football and deading one because it's depressing right now. And I think tomorrow when we do the Premier League fans live stream, I'm going to be bantered by Chelsea and Arsenal and Liverpool fans by how ridiculous our transfer windows is. But take care, man. Take care, Draco. Appreciate you stopping by. Really do appreciate it. And subscribe to his channel. Anyone that's listening, Draco Evolve, shout out to him. Subscribe to his channel. Great content. Really appreciate it. What's next? So going back to what we were saying. Outgoings. All those players went. Now the key is, so we lost, okay? We lost a right back in Valencia, lost a midfielder in Fellaini, a midfielder in Herrera, and lost a striker forward in Lukaku. Now, out of those 4 players that we've lost, how many of those have been replaced? Okay, Valencia's gone, Wan-Bissaka's in, fine. That position's sorted. We've lost 2 midfielders. Did we sign any midfielders this window? No. Okay. We lost a forward now, Lukaku. Have we signed a replacement forward striker? No. No, we haven't. So, okay. So we're in a situation now where we're weaker, clearly. We're weaker. And I don't know about you, but certainly from... This is the thing. This is the thing. Our back four, defensively, keep-wise, that's fine. But in order to win, kill off games, you need a creative midfield and a good front three. Our midfield now consists of Matic, in terms of midfield players, Matic, Fred, Pereira, McTominay, and Pogba. So we have 5 midfield players, effectively. Okay? We have got no guarantee that Pogba's going to stay, especially if Real Madrid make a bumper offer, because they can still up until the end of August, beginning of September. So if Pogba leaves, we can't sign anyone else. We're down to 4 players. Okay, you could throw in Ghana, but I think he might go out on loan. If any of those players get injured, Matic, who's 31, probably get injured, Fred, we're now down to 3 or 2. Do you see the problem here? We didn't have any midfield players at all. Exactly, Jamie. It didn't take you to know we need to sign midfielders summit. If one doesn't even get in, we're doomed, of course. From a sheer, to be honest, and I was reading this recently. I think Simon Stone confirmed it. He said United weren't pursuing a defender until I think mid-June. I genuinely believe, guys, that had Eric Bailly not got injured for 6 months, that United would not have pursued Harry Maguire. I think the only reason United pursued Harry Maguire was because we needed a defender, and Solskjaer got a bit more leeway because Eric Bailly was injured. So it's like, okay, Eric Bailly's injured, Rojo might be going, so realistically, we need to bring someone in. So he got a bit of leeway there. But that should have been the case for the midfield players as well. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that one of the biggest club in the world does not seem to be able to prioritize having a midfield player. I don't get it. I really do not get it. I don't. And then we bring that on to our forward line. Our forwards consist of, wingers, I wouldn't say even forwards, because to be honest, we don't really have an outright forward. Yes, Marcus Rashford can play up top, but he said so himself. He doesn't feel like he's a traditional number 9. He feels like he needs to come inside. Van Gaal did put him in the box, and hopefully he will improve. But he's not technically a traditional number 9, Marcus Rashford. We don't actually have a number 9 right now at the club right now. Martial, yes, he can also play up top. Is he number 9 right now? No. Lingard, definitely not number 9. Mata, number 10, not a forward. And slow right now, losing the pace. Greenwood, possibly. But we're placing our expectation, our desire, our how can we say, our hope, and hope is the word, on academy players and kids. Because let's be honest, guys, like, if we look at that team, McTominay, Rashford, Greenwood or Lingard, Pereira in the midfield, let's say. That's them, I think. Those are all, that's almost half of your squad, maybe 4 on the team, that have come straight from the academy. That we're relying, that we're hoping, that we're saying, right, guys, please got to step up and do something for us, because seriously, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Just going up to reading some comments. Jamie again, appreciate it. Appreciate you stopping by. His club is going to place Arsenal Banter Club. It's sad. I know, and the thing is that it's not because there's not money to spend. There is money to spend. There's no reason why United are in this situation. There's not. It just boggles my mind. It really, really does. And he says, we're relying on so many question marks. Will Pogba stay? Exactly. Will McTominay become amazing? Will Fred become the player we paid for? Will Martial and Rashford score loads of goals? Exactly. Like, we rely, it's hope. That's what it is. It's simple as that. It's hope. We're relying on players, everything just working out. Like, the only thing I'm holding on to in comparison to, say, like Arsenal and Everton and these players, is that much like when Tottenham bought all those players need time to gel, need time to have chemistry, etc. And that's the only negative when you get so many players into one new squad. The only positive I feel I have with United is that all the players have at least played together consistently for up to 2 months now, bar Harry Maguire. You know, everyone, Daniel James and Saka, they're on pre-season, so there should be a good team chemistry. There's no reason why the team can't go in and start guns blazing. There's no reason why they can't, because they should all kind of know. God forbid Rashford or Martial gets injured, then we have to rely on a 17-year-old Greenwood with so much pressure about. Exactly. But even just think about just substitutions. You know, I'm just thinking in my mind, okay, let's say we start and on Saturday I'll be doing obviously my predicted starting 11 against Chelsea, Manchester United versus Chelsea preview. We'll be getting that done. But I'm just thinking, if you want to make substitutions, so if we say start with, okay, Rashford up top, Martial on left, and then let's say Lingard on the right. Who's the impact substitution now? Who do we bring on to a goal? Who do we bring on to change things? Mata? So Lingard starts. Oh, we're going to change things by bringing on Mata. Or Greenwood? You know what I mean? Like, even in midfield, who do you bring on? Okay, we start with, let's say, Fred, McTominay, and Pereira, maybe. Oh, sorry, Pogba, sorry. Who do you bring on? Pereira? Matic? Like, we like, our first team is already dirt for ready. So we need to make sure that even, like, our first team is so dirt that we won't actually, our sub bench, there's nothing there unless the youth step up. I'm going to say this right now, though. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets into the top four, I don't care if Pep wins the title for a third time. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with this squad, should be manager of the year. And he should be given the job permanently. If he gets this team to top four, somehow, he deserves manager of the year alone, period. We don't have the squad depth for all the games. We're going to have Europa League on Thursday and the Premier League on Sunday. It's worrying. Exactly. That's a big thing that people are thinking about. It's like, that's why I said at the start, I was like, guys, the Europa League, we just got to play the kids. Seriously. Because we don't know what our starting 11 is. I have a prediction, or what I think the ideal starting 11 is. But the reality, guys, is that we need to keep our starting 11 fit because we don't have the depth, let alone subs. Lukaku left and no replacement. Yep, exactly. Bad timing. Daniel E. We should have taken back Daniel Welbeck on a free. Injury prone, but to be honest, I see a point. I do see a point. I build him a statue, he gets a top four. Yeah, absolutely. There were guys. Moise Kean went to Everton. The Juventus back went for 40 million. I would have taken Moise Kean as a forward, to be honest. So, is it that clubs just say, "Oh right, we if United are interested, we'll bump up the price to 80." From that point of view, I can kind of understand, but the reality is that yes, so what though? We have that money, so it shouldn't be a problem. Like, for goodness sake, just sign the player. Anyway. Thanks again. We've got 21 people watching. Really appreciate it, guys. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studios. This is going to be an evening rant. This rant is going to go on for a long time. There's a lot to talk about, guys. So just keep on listening. We're going to keep on going. Post in the chat in your comments. We'll get you on the show as well. Really appreciate everyone. I have taken Man English to be fair and super sub. The thing is, Jamie, it doesn't make sense that you let, as bad as people say Lukaku is, he was still a highest goal scorer. Like he scored the most goals for United last season, and so to let him go, a guy in his 25, his 26, to Inter for 75 million pounds. And to then bring in someone who's 33 for maybe 30 million, that's not what a big team does. You look at what Man City did. Fernandinho's aging, he's still there. They go and buy Rodri. De Bruyne needs a bit of competition. They go and buy Mahrez. Otamendi and the defense needs a bit of work up. They go and get Laporte. Delpha's gone. They go and get is it not Lascello? It's the other defender, Juventus defender, Lascello or something, I think. That's how you do it. That's how you do business. You identify. Liverpool did it. They were like, our keeper's a weakness, get a keeper. Our defense is a weakness, get a defender. We've had weaknesses in our squad, and instead of identifying the weaknesses and replacing them, we've just extended people's contracts. Can someone tell me why Phil Jones, of all people, why did he need for his contract to be renewed? Ashley Young, Mata, etc. These are players we could have just let go. We renewed their contracts. So it's not just the fact that we could have let Mata, Ashley Young, and those teams go, got the money, recuperated the money back from those players, and invested that. But we didn't. It was cheaper supposedly to just renew their contracts. Guys, I'm frustrated. Thank you, Jamie, for Angel subs. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Let's just push on to 1,000, man. So really want to. Because I think with 1,000 subs and a bit more sort of support, I feel like I'm single-handedly running this channel. So I have a bit more impetus and content and stuff like that to be able to give, and hopefully this channel will continue to grow as the year goes on. So it's mostly audio based. I appreciate that. But it's just how we're doing things for the time being. And I have gotten better at Pro Evo, just in case anyone's asking. Yeah, exactly. Imagine being Phil Jones, but not under exactly. Not just Phil Jones. Phil Jones, Mata, Ashley Young. You know, it doesn't make sense. It really, really doesn't make sense. It just does not make any sense whatsoever, guys. It really, really doesn't. And I'm tired of it. I really, really am. I'm so sick and tired of this mess that we're having at Manchester United. I'm gonna back the team. I mean, guys, I'm heading down to Old Trafford on Sunday. I'm gonna be cheering. I want to go into the season, but I feel like this game of the season is gonna be a good gauge for me because I bought a season ticket, high expectations, and I'll support the team, but the game will give me a good indication of how we're going to sell for the rest of the season. And the reality is that as much as I like watching a preseason games and you watch the watch longs and sort of got my reactions, etc., there's still a concern for me in midfield. Defensively, we've improved, but there's still that concern in midfield, especially if Nemanja Matic continues to play there. He should not play there. And we don't even have, even if you take Matic out, the creativity to help Pogba. I don't blame Pogba. You know, Pogba's thinking like, I need to be playing with world-class players to develop. Well, Rasmus say, hello, shout out to you, man. Shout out. Good to see you. Good to see you in the comments. I don't blame Pogba for wanting to go because the reality is that United have been up and down, up and down, up and down, and there's just been regression. I think it's ridiculous for United fans to just place for just Pogba, for all the expectation we place on Pogba to perform. Pogba cannot perform. Once again, if you could do fan cams after games, exactly. I think it's just a lot of it is just manpower. You know, if you're just doing this by yourself, then like who's gonna be the cameraman to record things, etc., etc. You know, that for me is the big thing. Like if there's people around that can help and stuff like that, then fine. But we certainly will be doing more collaborations. So Drake Revol with a few people, we're going to be doing some more collaborations. You might see me on other channels, which would be good. Rasmus say again says, I don't know what we can do to kick these guys out. Mate, there's nothing we can do. Because United are going to be making money regardless. And really, all I can say is, Daniel Turner, can we sign Bruno on Jan? What do you think? So before I go to, I'll finish this Glazers comment. As far as the Glazers are concerned, there's nothing we can do. I know that's depressing. There's nothing we can do. We only hope that they sell to some rich Arab or something like that. That's the only thing that we can hope for, because I just don't see the Glazers leaving the cash cow anytime soon. I really don't. Daniel Turner again. So can we sign Bruno and Jana? What do you think? Nah, I don't think so. Because either he's not seen as a priority, and we'll see. Maybe, I don't know. I think a lot of it was because our Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League or Europa League. I don't know. If someone could clarify that in the comments, I'd appreciate it. But if they're in the Champions League, for example, then why would he want to switch out of that midway through the season? I don't know. I think Sporting Lisbon will want to keep a hold of him. The thing about Bruno Fernandes is, I think Spurs were the only. I think Spurs did give an official bid. I think I can't confirm that, but United never gave an official bid for Bruno Fernandes. So that tells me if United really wanted to pursue Bruno Fernandes, they would have lodged an official bid, but they didn't. So that's even more concerning to me, because what that says is that he probably wasn't they liked him, but he probably wasn't a high priority target, which then means, was a midfielder actually a high priority target for Ollie? And that's what I want to clarify is that, did Ollie genuinely want another midfield player? I imagine he must have. Or did Edward say, listen, you can only make 2 high priority signings? No, 1 high priority signing. Okay, get Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Fine. Okay, we can give you Harry Maguire. But if we're going to sign anyone else, we have to let players go. You know what I mean? Jan transfer useless. Not all of them. To be honest, if we'd used our January transfer window this year properly and got rid of some players like Rojo, like Diamonds, and what have yous, then this going into this window, I think would have been a lot easier. I think then Europa exactly. So I'm not quite sure whether Sporting will let him go. I don't know. He finished third in Portugal. Yeah. Thanks for that, Jamie. Appreciate it. No, I just can't see. The point I guess I'm just trying to make is that I just didn't get the impression that United, for all the rumour, for all the talk that was going on, I don't think United ever viewed Bruno Fernandes as a high priority signing. I don't think they did. Because if they did, they would have officially bidded for him. But they didn't officially bid for him. So I don't think it was a high priority signing. Red Devil Weekly, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thank you for coming into the live. I appreciate it. Shout out, guys, to Red Devil Weekly. Please follow him on YouTube. He uploads very good content as well. And he's another United fan. And he's probably just as frustrated as I am right now. I would give the win a 5 out of 10. And what we did do was great. It was what we didn't do that was the problem. I agree and disagree with you. So I agree with you in the sense of what we did. Of course, getting Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire, I think was good. What I think is that why I guess I disagree is that, look at Arsenal, and I didn't think I'd even say this on a stream. I didn't think I'd even talk about Arsenal Football Club. How have Arsenal, let's talk about it from a second, managed to get this Ceballos guy to help them out on loan? He's a midfielder. So they've got an on-loan midfielder from Real Madrid. Great. They've got a defender who they've loaned back. They bought him. Fair enough. But bearing that in mind, they were able to get David Luiz in for 8 million. And they were able to get Nicolas Pepe for 72 million. And they were able to get Kieran Tierney for 25. How have Arsenal managed to do that? And the net spend says what? How many players? 5 players there? And the net spend is 50 million. Our net spend is 60 million. And we were only able to get in 3 players. One of them is arguably potential. Do you kind of see what I mean? So, like, on the one hand, I'm like, okay, fair enough. People, United people take United right. We don't want to spend tons of money. You look at Everton, you look at Arsenal, look at all these players. A lot of these teams, they're getting players in, but not spending shed loads of money and not getting big names. No one's saying we need to go out and get a big name, high profile signing. There are plenty of. A good example would have been Thomas Partey of Atletico Madrid. Thomas Partey, we need a defensive midfield player that's better than Matic. Thomas Partey's tenacious. His release cost is 40 million. Simple. So there are players out there, there are midfielders out there that wouldn't have cost tons of money. So, or even a loan. We were rumored, apparently, according to the press, PSG offered Neymar on loan. We declined. Why? Why not give him on loan for a year with no buyout? Why not? Yes, okay, we have subsidised his wages or whatever. Fine. Just going back to your comments again. Jamie, my worry is that Ollie gets sacked this season. If it's not his fault, if he doesn't get backed by the board. The thing I would say about getting sacked is that who comes in to replace him? Ollie, it was Ed Woodward made the decision to hire Ollie, presumably based on the PSG result, which in retrospect I think was wrong. So I think we should wait to the end of the season. But he made that decision. So you've got to ask the question, who comes in as an Ollie replacement? Ollie was an interim manager. We didn't go scouting, we didn't go searching around. There is no manager that I can think of that is a top quality that is available right now that could just step in. Like Zidane might get sacked from Madrid, and if that's the case, would you want to take Zidane? Allegri is probably available now. Do you want that type of football in Man United? I don't think people want to talk football Man United. Outside of that, I can't think of many else. And again, we still have the same problem in that, yes, okay, we get a new manager in, but is that manager going to be backed? Because the last three weren't backed. So there we go. Daniel Turner says, what about Lukaku's replacement? Yeah, exactly. Where is it? It's Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood is Lukaku's replacement. That's who we're relying on. Mason Greenwood. Ramos say, it's so depressing that it was clear right from the beginning where we were headed with Glaze takeover, yet no supporter group could stop. No, we can't. No. The big issue here is that the Glazers obviously have brought success. We won the Champions League. We dominated essentially before City came around. So at the time, because no one really had anything to say, the issue now is obviously the Premier League is much more competitive now than it was at that time. Much, much more competitive. And City, obviously, spending millions. But even Liverpool, Tottenham, there's so much money in football now that it's very difficult for one team to just dominate in the transfer market. And that's why it's not just about money, but it's also about being shrewd. It's about having good scouts. It's about being tactical. There are players available out there that no one's really looking at or is really in for, that people just swipe up. Like, the best thing for me is Kante. No one would have... Leicester City scout, where was it? Leicester City scouts that got from the league, I think it was League 2 of the French league. Scouts him. This guy's got potential. Boom. Bought him for 500,000? That was it. I think it was that. It certainly wasn't up to $1 million. And the rest is history. So I'm not saying as a United fan we need to go and spend hundreds of millions of pounds getting Neymar and all this sort of stuff like that. I just think that our scouting needs to be better. Let's read some of your comments. Red Devil, very true. It's not about buying big names. It's about buying smart. That's why I don't understand why we didn't bid for if it's exactly. There were many small. Even if we weren't in for Bruno Fernandes, how many players were there available in midfield that we could have got in easily? Thomas Partey's, maybe Milinkovic Savic's. There are many players around that would have been anywhere between 40 to 60 million, easy. Which is why I just wonder whether actually getting a midfield player in was actually a priority for Manchester United at all. Because it doesn't sound like we were in for them at all. It just doesn't, strange. Some section of fans found a club called FC United Manchester, but is founding a new club soon. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but hope to see the back of the gaze ASAP. It is a question. It is a question. And I think we need to look at this season, to be honest. Because we need to see what this season brings. We really do. We need to see what the season brings, because do we go and I certainly think we're going to be a lot more vocal this season, because the fans are going to turn against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm just trying to think how do things change? I don't know, because Manchester United globally makes so much money. So it's one thing to support FC United. It's one thing for people in the UK to do it. But what about people in China? What about people in Brazil? What about people in Africa? Like, United makes so much money globally that, frankly, a dent in the UK, I think, it's not going to make a difference. Like, it could work for, like, your cities and stuff like that, because they don't have any fans, really, and it's the money's the sheikhs, but no, not with us, I think, unfortunately. Red Devil Weekly, Rafa brings through at the moment. Mate, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised, although he is ex-Liverpool, so I don't think people would be happy about that. Steve McLaren, Don't even start, Jamie. Don't even start. The next thing you know, you'll be talking about what's his name, freaking Alan Pardew. Like sorry for that. I swear, no, 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 no. Please. Ready for no sixth place finish? Yeah. If I'm honest, like be live obviously tomorrow. Red Devil Studio Premier League. Uh, Premier League fans, and we will literally be. And I'll probably tell them right now, guys. I expect United to finish sixth. That's my expectation. Europa League competitors. I think that our best way of going back to the Champions League now that I appreciate, is actually winning the Europa League. And I think that's going to be, unless we get further investment, that's going to be what our best way to the Champions League. It is. Because Arsenal have a good shout at competing. Chelsea, when you don't know of Chelsea personally, they could be, because Lampard's inexperienced, they could either do well or they could be absolutely diabolical. We'll see on Saturday. I think Sunday, is going to be a good test. I think Sunday is going to be a good test to see the nature of how things are going to be, because Ollie and Lampard are both two inexperienced managers in the Premier League. And I'd argue Ollie has more experience just because he's had a season and a half. So if we show maturity and intelligence and cream Chelsea, then there's a possibility we have a chance. And I'm only banking on it because I'm hoping that Chelsea capitulate because of Lampard's inexperience, and that Arsenal, as good as their signs have been, that Arsenal's away record still remains bad. If those two things happen and we just, get through, we could potentially seal fourth. But I'm banking on those two things happening. If those two things don't happen, no chance. What amazes me is how Man City get usually cheap signings despite everyone knowing they have loads of money. Their record signing is Roger 66 million. If I'm not saying exactly, yeah, because it's shrewd. It's shrewd. It's shrewd business, because they're not looking at. They're looking intelligently. I think also as well is that they're also not bought into the hype of English talent. I don't know whether it's Solskjaer, I don't know if it's the coaching staff, I don't know if it's Woodward or whatever, but buying English players, you get an English premium. And then you add that onto the United premium, which is you have money, we'll pay more. So, we could have easily found other players who were not English, who went on the leagues for less than what we got Maguire for, etc. But, there we go. City know how to do their business, and we don't. And that's how they're going to dominate the Premier League, because year on year they strengthen their squad. They don't shed loads of money because they don't have to. 1 or 2 signings to keep the hunger in, and that's it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're winning again this season. The only thing I'm thinking that would stop City from winning the title this season is because if they play Otamendi and Stones together in defence, because I think Otamendi is a waste man, to be honest. Reading more comments. This is great, guys. Thank you just for the interaction of these comments is really, really good. Really, really appreciate it. We've got 24 people watching. Highest view count so far. Appreciate it, guys. This is gonna go on for a while, guys. This might go on for an hour and a half, just given how much there is to talk about and how much your comments. So it's just gonna keep on going on, guys. Jamie, Alan Pardew and Jesse Lingard dance together in the dressing room while down 4.5 time. Oh, please, man, please. It's depressing thinking about it. It really is. Daniel, Woodward is the problem in the club. I would say Glaze is the problem, because as I said earlier in this stream, at the end of the day, if the Glazers were like, Ed Woodward, here's £500 million, go and spend it, he would do that. The reality is that Edward was brought into the club, presumably as a banker, to save money, to do shrewd deals, to do technical deals. But the problem is that, he's saving money, but he's not shrewd. So we don't spend that much, but we spend a lot on maybe 1 or 2 players. So it doesn't really make sense. It's like, if you were shrewd, I'd appreciate, okay, a few players, and then you only spend 40 million. You're like, man, that's a steal. And possibly in the future, Aaron Wan-Bissaka could potentially be a steal. Same with Daniel James. But It just doesn't make sense. Red Devil Weekly. The only positive of the lack of investment in forward line and midfield means potential games with Gomez, Chong, and Greenwood. Agree, but like I said, it goes back to. Sorry, I'm just speaking. So my throat's getting dry. It goes back to what I was saying before about hope. You know, we're hoping that Chong, Gomez, and Greenwood are going to turn good. We're hoping. You know, we hope that they'll step forward. Now, I was impressed very much with Gomez and Greenwood in pre-season, but the only thing I would say though is that the now new, I think, under 21's first team coach did say, because bear in mind, guys, that players can leave the club after this deadline on loan, etc. So players can leave. And one of the things that the first team coach said, and I quote, was he expects that there'll be some young players, a new squad, that will be going out on loan. So I don't know how that's going to be possible. I don't think Greenwood is among them, understandably. But Chong, maybe Garner, maybe Gomez, maybe all going out on loan. You know, possibly. I don't see how. Certainly Garner. I don't see how Garner and possibly Gomez can go out on loan, because if we have any injury problems, we need. No, Garner has to be even the subs bench, because if we have injury problems, who's going to come into our midfield, especially if Pogba leaves? We need a director of football, Jamie. Yeah, but Ed Woodward's going to link on Relish that's his position. He's not going anywhere. He's really not. Pete, you guys are bantering me when it comes to players to managers coming in. Sam Allardyce, seriously, Sam Allardyce. No. That's. I take Chris Hughton over Sam Allardyce. I mean, no. Oh, jeez. I mean, the big problem is that there's not any world class managers anymore. There are, but there's just there's not enough of them, because they've all been sacked, or they did this, that, and the other. So yeah, you know, it's bad. It's bad. I'm having a laugh trying to forget about how depressed I feel regarding where we're headed. Yeah, man, this is a rant, but this is also just everyone just basically say how they feel, to be honest, because I feel like the best way to deal with this type of stress and this type of horrible situation is just to laugh and just talk about it and to vent, frankly, because seriously, there's just no. I don't know how else to cope, really, aside from just that. And that's why I started this channel in the first place. As some of you even know, I started this channel because I'm not liking the direction the club is going, and I wanted to just basically talk about my concerns and just all things United, really. You know, just me with a mic, just basically just speaking how it is. You know, and if people like that, great, that's fine. We'll continue to give more content. Ultimately, and I'll do what Red Dead Weekly did, where I'll rank transfer window. I will rank it like him. I rank it a 5 out of 10, because we have obviously sorted out our defense, which is good, and at the very least, we're at a solid defense. We should hopefully not concede many goals, and if we can stay in the game, you know, I'd be happy, to be honest, this season if we just basically almost did a Mourinho, where we were tight defensively, and then nicked a goal 1-0. If we go for the season just 1-0 wins, fine. Fine. I don't think any United fans should be like, oh, but let's play expansive, fast, awesome football. Guys, as much as I would love to see that, if we can just get small wins, that is fine for me. Absolutely fine. Because our midfield is probably sans Pogba, like a mid to bottom table midfield. You could argue championship, because Everton's midfield is better than ours, Wolves' midfield is better than ours, Leicester's midfield is better than ours. I'd even argue Watford's midfield is better than ours. Seriously. All those teams have better midfielders than we do. Our front three, it depends. Our defense is probably within the top six, I would say. Now it's in the top six if you include the keeper as well. So that's sorted. So you know, it's yeah. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. I do not know what's going to happen to this. We've gone one step further, but two steps back. Yep. I didn't think we even went a step forward, to be honest. I don't think we went a step forward. I think what happened is that we thought we were going to go a step forward, but actually we were just going to continue to regress. That's actually what happened. That's what I think happened. Um, right. What else we're going to talk about? What else? There was plenty of stuff to talk about. Let's talk about Lukaku for a brief minute. As I said earlier on about outgoings, Lukaku clearly left. He's gone to Inter Milan, signed a 75 million deal, which has helped our outgoings. So I'm sure Ed would be happy about that. I wouldn't say I'm an avid Lukaku defender, but what I would say about Lukaku is Lukaku at the end of the day was our highest scorer last season. And he scored important goals. If you recall, the two against PSG, and I think the two against Southampton, Crystal Palace, when we were. And this is the thing, when Lukaku scored his goals, we anointed his first touch, etc. But the reality is that what I need to give Lukaku, we need to give Lukaku praise, is that when when we had those injuries to Martial, to Rashford, Lukaku stepped up in those big games and scored those goals against PSG, against Palace, against Southampton to keep us in that top four race. He did. His behaviour's been awful with this whole transfer thing, but he did that. My point now is when those injuries come, and they will, like they did last season, who is going to step up and score those goals? That is my big problem. When we're in that situation when, okay, Rashford's injured, or Lingard's injured, or Martial's injured, or two of them injured at the same time, as they were against PSG, Lingard and Martial to go off, who's going to step in and score those goals? Alexis Sanchez? Really? Mata? Really? Jamie, match is starting every week. No. Remember this mistake versus AC Man in possession just to that will be a managerial thing. If Ollie starts the Nemanja Matic against Chelsea, I will and regularly I will start to question him. That's when I'm thinking, okay, maybe the Ollie being sacked have a point, because that is a managerial. Unless it's something I'm missing, that is a managerial decision. Okay, Ollie, the first game of the season maybe I could get personal, but if he plays him all the time, because he can't play all the time, Matic, he can't. He's too old and he's too slow. But if he doesn't at some point put McTominay or Fred or someone else that's not Matic to defend, then I'll have question marks over the guy, because it should be obvious to him what's wrong by playing Matic there. It should be obvious. Daniel Tanner, thanks again for the comments, guys. Appreciate it. I believe Rashford and Martial will score many goals next. How many goals, sorry, do you think that they will score next season? I mean, bearing in mind, Rashford has not scored more than, since he came to Surf team, he's not scored more than 12. To be honest, they need to score at least 15 each. And in fact, I'd argue that they need to score 15 each, and then Greenwood or Matt or someone need to chip in another 15. Because Lukaku, without Lukaku now, so we don't have that. So if Martial and Rashford score maybe 10, 12 between themselves, someone has to score the other 15 plus. So, Martial and Rashford need to be reaching at least between 15 to 18 goals, at least, and hope that Greenwood, Mata, Lingard can chip in for the rest. That's they need to. because we haven't signed another forward. We haven't. Um, Ramos, I was so happy to see the back of Mourinho after his building tactics, dreadful interviews and press conferences, but we're fuming for end up in a situation danger of losing his job. Yeah, I agree. I didn't like, and although the comebacks were fairly heart-inducing when we come back, because that was how I wanted United to play. Like, we come back and win. It was just like, it was great. Those feelings were good, but generally, yes, his tactical press conferences were negative. But the only sympathy I have for Mourinho is that, again, did Mourinho know all this? Did Mourinho know, oh, hang on, guys, I'm not being backed. They only care about themselves. And so that attitude, you're like, this did a negativity, was the negativity from him, or was the negativity from knowing what actually happens at Manchester United Football Club? Because you look at all their managers, Moyes, Van Gaal, and Mourinho. Yes, they were sacked, but they always have like this. There's a negative. There's a hidden behind. There's a disdain for what goes on behind the doors, and I think Ollie potentially is in danger of having that as well. Russian, but sad I think it's announced after this transfer window. We'll see. I'm going to back Ollie. I'm going to back him. I'm going to hope and pray. And like I said, to be honest, every United's expectation should be if he gets fourth, that's a miracle. If Ollie gets fourth, or if we win the Europa League again, keep him. That's my expectation for the season. Fourth or Europa League, even if he gets fifth, to be honest, we can't sack him. We can't sack him. Who's going to come to manage for the start? We can't. We can't. We only got to think of sacking, replacing if we're now fighting for relegation. Then that's a problem. But I trust Mike Phelan, who's still with them. They've got to have something. They've got to. And he did a fairly decent job at Hull, to be fair. James Lukaku scored goals. That's it. That was his job. They're important goals too, to be honest. He was our Belgian when he was with, yeah, I get it. This is the thing. Like, I understood why a lot of fans wanted Lukaku to leave. But as I was saying multiple times, I was like, Lukaku leaving is fine, but we need to sign a replacement. That must be imperative. We can't just let him go. And we need a replacement. And the fact we haven't got a replacement, it scares me a lot. Because I think 15 goals at the end of the day, 15 goals is still still a sizable contract. That's just in the Premier League. Where those 15 goals are going to come from. And I don't think any fan has answered me as of yet. Going through comments again. If Ollie's manager to somehow give us a good season, that's him doing a miracle, and he will deserve to make. Exactly, Ramos. Exactly. It will be a miracle. It will be, like I said, even if Pep wins the Premier League again, if Ollie gets fourth and a Europa League title, he deserves manager of the season, 100%. Oh, I forgot Alexis Sanchez was still. Of course, he's still here. He wasn't involved in pre-season, Alexis Sanchez, because he was busy Copa de American, but he's here. And that's another big problem. So, he's not been involved in pre-season. Ollie Klee doesn't want him. So what's going to happen to him? He's going to have to play. So there we go. Mourinho also played with Tom at CV with Russell. Don't have much sympathy for him. Yeah, I don't really understand. I don't understand why he played. There was a point, I remember in that game, was it West Ham or some game, where Pogba was playing like left back. You're like, what is going on? But again, I think Mourinho liked to prove that he needed, but he's right. If we bought a centre back at the time that Mourinho wanted one, or at least in January, we wouldn't have been spending months trying to get a centre back this summer. So there's an element of sympathy in there. United man, hey man, I appreciate it. Hope your live stream is good. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it. Just catch up a chance to recap. Yeah, so brief recap. This is for most part it's been a rant, but basically in conclusion or in summary, we obviously signed Daniel James early on, then Wan-Bissaka, and then Harry Maguire. We took far too long to get those signings done, as if we were signing in players one at a time after each other. The other thing is that like we did not identify, or we didn't seem to clarify what our priority signings were. Did we need to sign Daniel James, for example, when we already had left wingers? And then thirdly, how is it that other teams like Arsenal, like Tottenham, like Everton, and so on, were able to spend essentially about the same on net spend, and yet able to sign good quality players that can fit in their positions? And then lastly, as I've just briefly sort of saying, our outgoings, the concern that Pogba could still leave, and if Pogba does leave, what is going to happen to our midfield? But also the fact that Manchester United, that Lukaku is gone, and as much as people don't like Lukaku, he scored 15 goals for us last season in the Premier League alone. Who is going to step up and score the remaining goals? Because it's going to put a lot of pressure on Martial, on Rashford and Lingard to perform. That's the general summary. Everything else was ranting about the Glazers in particular, who seem to be more and more cheapskate as the seasons go on. What we do about that, and honestly, I don't think there's much that we can do about that. But more importantly, what our expectations are for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this season. And as I said, I think that if Ole gets fourth, it's a miracle. If he gets fourth in a trophy, he stays at the club indefinitely. But frankly, if he gets fifth, what do you do? Because which manager is gonna come to United, especially if they're not backed? This is semi. I feel like United are in a similar situation to how Real Madrid are. Yes, Real Madrid bought Hazard and bought more players, etc. But again, they also have not strengthened in the positions that they need to strengthen, which is midfield and defence. So, you'll find that Zidane possibly could be sacked by the end of it, but it's like, but who's going to go there? Because they're not going to be back, not going to be given time. So these big clubs, Real Madrid, United, are the biggest clubs in the world. They're the biggest clubs in the world, and yet they're the worst run, I would argue. Ramos, Edward was such a competent CEO. He refused to pay 6 million for Maguire last year to pay anyone 1 year, and doing that closer to line deserves price. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. I said it's like he's a banker. Sorry, throat getting dry. He's a banker by trade, but he's not shrewd. So how can you? So, for example, I would have certainly taken Cancelo, for example, on loan, like Arsenal did. Easily done that. Or even, frankly, David Luiz, as bantery as he is, if you had him just on loan to sort out defence and maybe to bring Axel Twansibi up through the ranks, fine. Shrewd business. Just being shrewd about things. And he wasn't. There are players out there that would have added to our squad, but for some reason, I don't know whether he wants because of the commercial value or because the coaching staff were English players. I don't know. If Ollie wins the league, no, we're not going to win the league, Jamie. We're not. If he wins the league, man, he deserves a lifetime contract until he decides to retire. Seriously. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we've got no chance to win the league. If we win a league, it'll be like almost the equivalent of Leicester City winning the league. And I say that seriously because I think Leicester City overall have a better squad than we do. So, yeah, it would, yeah. United, man, I was hoping we did sign Mandzuki's option B, the option to change up. True, but the thing is that, again, it doesn't make sense. You let a forward, a number 9 in his prime, I bet he has undergone a great first touch, to go for 75 million, to sign a player for maybe, 20 million, who's 33 and who's arguably slow. That's not what big teams do. That's not what Manchester United used to do. Although to be honest, when I look back, when you look at the big players that have gone, like Ronaldo that left and so on, United for some reason have very difficult time actually replacing good players. It just doesn't seem to work for them, and I don't really understand. I don't really understand why. I don't really understand why. Um, any concern with the teams around us that have improved massively? Of course, of course. This is what I'm saying. Like, mate, our first. If you look at our games, like our first game is Chelsea at home and then Wolves away. Now, given this team, I could easily see us losing both of those games. Then we have, I think, in the first five, we have United. We have Chelsea. Obviously, we have Wolves. Let me just quickly check the fixtures. 1 second. Yeah, so we have Chelsea at home. Then we have Wolves away, which is going to be tough. They're both going to be tough. Then we have Crystal Palace at home, which might be okay now that I feel they're weakened slightly defensively. They've got Zaha, who's always a threat. We've got Southampton away, which might be tough because it was tough last season because they were the new manager's got them pressing very high. And then our fifth, we've got Leicester at home, which will also be tough. So none of those games that I've said, we don't face any newly promoted sides. All those sides are Premier League sides. Two of those sides were in the top 6, top 7 last season. The others were certainly close, i.e. Leicester City. Crystal Palace and Southampton are no pushovers. We've struggled against them in the past. So, we're going to struggle. We are going to struggle. A few comments again. Well, we had some old strikers down the years, but they were monsters despite their age. Exactly. You're right. I agree. I think it's just more the fact that of the nature of the business of that, in my mind, you don't let a prime player and sell him for 75 million go only to replace that player with a 33-year-old. Like Zlatan came in because we had Zlatan. I think we got Zlatan, I think, for free, essentially. And it was good experience to help, like Rashford and all the forwards develop. That makes sense. But to sort of have a prime run forward and sell him and then bring someone in that's older, it just doesn't make sense to me. Unless you're Cristiano Ronaldo, which supposedly we could have brought. Man, if we had signed Cristiano Ronaldo for 190 million back, my goodness, morale would have been better here. But we didn't because Ed Woodward loves Gareth Bale. So there we go. Also, today showing Mandzukic not like that at all. Like I said, I'll confess I've not watched Mandzukic that much, but although he's a decent player, I just think that, like I said, it just doesn't make sense from a business and building a longevity point of view, because how long is Mandzukic going to be at the club for? A year, 2 years, and then we have to go and replace him again. So it's like, if we're building, if this is a rebuild, I don't feel like buying any player that's 33, 34 plus is a rebuild. Personally, I just don't, because that's supposedly what we were doing, a rebuild, but it doesn't feel like a rebuild. If you're buying Mandzukic, if you're renewing Mata, renewing Young's contract, it doesn't feel like a rebuild, guys. We struggle in these games, and there's a good chance Pogba leaves for September. Don't blame. I don't blame. Now, after this, I don't blame. For people hating on Pogba, nah. You need to look at Pogba's perspective. Pogba is probably looking at it going like, geez, I'm going to be blamed if us, because this is what's going to happen. The start of the season is going to come. Pogba is surrounded by average to mediocre players, and people look at Pogba and go, why isn't Pogba sticking around? Pogba's this, Pogba's that, Pogba. And it's like, but what's around Pogba? Okay, what can Pogba actually do? Like, Pogba's actually playing more deeper than he's played beforehand to compensate for that. If we had a fast defensive midfield like Matic, and you can see when Herrera plays, Pogba plays better. But because we have a slow DM like Matic, because we need to hold into one midfield, Pogba has played, I've noticed it, he's played deeper and deeper and deeper. when he's allowed to get forward. We know this. He gets forward, he assists, he carries the ball. That's what he's good at. But you play Matic in that defense and you have average players around him, he'll sit deep because he needs to help out. And that's not where you're going to get the best out of Pogba. Not unless you have someone in the club that is really going to get 25. We don't have someone in the club that has 20. Just look at last season, top goal scorers. You had Salah, Mane, and Aubameyang sharing the golden boot. So 2 of those players were Liverpool players, and one of them was an Arsenal player. Okay? United were nowhere near at all. Nowhere near. Let's hope Rashid Marshall will come York and Cole. I hope so. I really do. I really, really, really hope so, guys. I really, really do. But I have my doubts. I have my doubts, guys. I really, really do. 1 hour 15. Man, this run has been going on for a long time. So, 10 I'm probably going to have to check out about now. But thanks for listening, guys. Really, really appreciate everyone that's joining the stream. Appreciate your ongoing support for Red Devil Studio as a channel. It's been a long way. We've got 800 subscribers now. Let's push on to 1,000 subscribers. Appreciate if you like, share, and subscribe. And follow us on Twitter, ReunitedX. Guys, it's been a long transfer window. It's officially closed. There'll be no more Red Devil Studio transfer news. Not until January anyway. So we'll be focusing on the season with match previews, post-match reactions, PES streams, debates, hopefully more live stream debates and interactive debates and comments as well as some good fun stuff. For those who are interested, guys, and I will post a link in this description. If you see our latest video, Red Devil Studio have a fantasy football league. Please join, guys. There is a prize. We are giving away a Manchester United 2019-2020 official United shirt at the end of the season for the winner of the Fantasy Premier League. The winner of the Red Devil Studio Fantasy Premier League, There'll be a link in this video, or you can go to the Red Devil Studio page and go to the video. Instructions are pretty simple, guys. All you have to do is like the video, be a subscriber to the channel, and post your team name in the comments so that I can see who's in it or not. If you don't post your team name in the comments, I have to delete you from the league. But yeah, get involved, guys. It's going to be a good fantasy football league. And like I said, there's a prize, so be competitive. A free Manchester United football shirt, that's a prize. So please, 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 please get involved in our Red Devil Studio Fantasy Premier League, and there'll be a link in the description. So tune in for that, guys. Just reading the last couple of minutes here. Cheers, mate. Not United rates, but do you think Spurs can challenge for EPL after the transfers? Yeah, they can. They can because as long as Kane isn't playing regularly, they can. Well, that's harsh on Kane. I think Kane slows them down, and I think that I noticed they play a lot better without him. So if Kane isn't playing all the time, and Pochettino gets his tactics okay, then they've got a chance. They've got a chance. I think Ndombele will be a good signing for them. Sessegnon, who we were always linked with but never got, will be a good signing for them. I think he'll be an amazing left back at United, as good backup to Luke Shaw at least, or to compete. But there we go. I think they can definitely challenge. But we've got to just appreciate that Liverpool and City were 30 points clear. They were 30 points clear from third. That is insane. So when we're talking about Manchester United, we're competing for fourth, maybe actually fifth or sixth at the rate that we're going. So, United, Liverpool and City were in a completely different level. You're 30 points, not 3 points, not 4 points, not 5, not 10. They were 30 points clear from the rest of the league. That is insane. So, they've added on their squad. They've developed. We can't catch them. We can't even begin to catch them. So we need to focus on our competitors around us, and that unfortunately will be Arsenal, will be Chelsea, will be Everton, will be Leicester, will be Wolves, will be Watford, because they will be strong. They will definitely be strong. We were close to relegation zone and City, exactly. By points, yes, we were. That's how far they were. Liverpool, as I said to my Liverpool friend, and how close the margins were. Had Liverpool beaten City or even drew with City, if Liverpool drew with City at the Etihad, not only would they have won the Premier League, but they would have gone the whole Premier League season unbeaten. That is ridiculous. They only lost one game, and that was against Manchester City at the Etihad. That was it. And United are going to compete. Come on, guys. Let's be real. Come on. Thanks for listening, guys. Really, really appreciate all those who tuned in. And like I said, please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Let's push on to 1,000 subscribers. Stay tuned. We will be doing Premier League fans episode 3 tomorrow at 8 o'clock, where there'll be a bunch of fans. Be very interactive, ask tons of questions. I'll be doing transfer reactions, previews, all the rest of it. So it's going to be really, really, really good. Have a nice evening, guys, and cheers.